This right here is crazy.
AyeQ!
This is what imagine him in a hospital room to deal with, and the baby's coming out. Fellas, again, focus on yourself. That's what it is.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy AyeQ, and I'm back with another reaction video for you guys today. And look, we got a very interesting video today. So this chick right here, she lost over 100 pounds, and then she realized that the men that she dated while she were overweight is not her type. So pretty much after she lost the weight, she discovered that her type is different. Let's get into it.
It took me losing over 100 pounds to realize that my entire dating type was based off of my insecurities. And what I mean by that is when I was heavier, the type of guy I liked was 1000% based off of who liked me. Like it wasn't anything to do with that person. It wasn't about the qualities in them. It wasn't about what I thought would make me a good match with them. Like that genuinely was not something that crossed my mind. I don't think ever. It was all about you like me, I like you. Like that made me feel good just knowing that somebody wanted me. And I don't think this was like a conscious thing that I did. I think it just happened over time to where my type was who liked me. If you liked me, I liked you within reason. But for the most part, like that's just what it was. And this came from the fact that while I was a bigger girl, I was just so incredibly insecure that just the fact that somebody wanted me made me feel special enough to where my brain would just start to think like, oh, that's the one. Like that's gonna be my husband. And I'm not proud of that. I'm genuinely not proud of that. But that's how I used to think back then. And I think like that insecurity runs so deep. Like I think when it comes to like picking guys based off who liked me, like that started based like in middle school. Like when girls first start to like have little crushes on boys, from that age, I realized that the smaller girls in my school got attention from boys and I didn't. And at first I tried to just brush it off as like, I'm young, I don't need attention. But then eventually it was like, wait a minute, why am I not getting attention? And I very quickly was able to put it together that they were smaller and I was a chubby kid. And even at that age, like if a boy did pay me any attention, I would cling to that because it would make me feel included like everybody else. Like I would love that. And it kind of turned me into like a pick me over time because
No, it just made you desperate because instead of working out and being in shape, you chose to be fat. But fellas, here's the thing, bro. And a bunch of y'all dudes are currently in a relationships with women who are pretty much with y'all by default. They are with y'all because they feel that they can't get any other man. You're the only one who is going to accept them. So she chose to stay with you. But if that same woman get on a shit, work out, get in shape, that's when you are going to see how she truly feels about you. And this is why me personally, fam, this is why I keep away from women who are overweight. Because one, mentally, women like that are not in the right place. They are desperate and they are settling. And you can't trust a woman like that, bro, because from the time she lose the weight, she's gonna leave your ass. That's a fact.
like I just wanted pretty much anybody who wanted me. And I genuinely wish I could have been one of those girls who, at a bigger size, was truly, truly confident, had confidence in themselves, felt beautiful, felt sexy, wore the nice clothes, did all the things. But just to be honest, like that really was not me. I was painfully insecure when I was at a heavier size. And it runs so deep that like last night I was just sitting down thinking about it because I was watching Love is Blind and Chelsea, I think her name was Chelsea, Megan Fox. I realized also is an insecure person. Like the reason she chose Jimmy was because there was another girl in the house who she deemed as prettier than her who liked him too. And the fact that he had the choice of both of them and was choosing her, that's why she wanted him. Like it was that. The fact that he had options, but he wanted her, that made him attractive to her because he wanted her. And that resonated with me because I'm like, yo, that's the way I used to think. Like when she chose him, and even though she obviously had a better match, I was like, I would have did the same thing. And in sitting down and watching Love is Blind and thinking about this, I realized that it started long before middle school. Like from like first grade, I was in dance classes. And I've noticed that from then, like as I started to get a little bit older and I started to gain weight, like at first when I was smaller, I would be in the front of our routines and everything. And then as I started to gain some weight, I noticed that I was starting to get placed further and further back. And if it wasn't for like dance teachers literally commenting on my weight at that age, I wouldn't have necessarily put it together. But I knew that they had an issue with my weight because they would make comments about my weight at that young age. So from that young, like from like 7 years old, I was able to realize being bigger is something that means I got to get to the back. Like I'm less than the people who get to be in the front. And that carried on with me as I got through life and kept gaining weight, even though I was active. I had always been active. I've always been somewhat athletic. And regardless of all that, I still gained weight. Now I know that PCOS was a big part of that and other medical conditions that I now know I have. But at the time, I didn't know why I was gaining weight, even though I was just as active as my peers. All I knew is that I didn't get the attention they got, and I knew that I felt a way about it, and I knew that it made me feel extremely like I was not beautiful. I did not feel like I had worth. And because of that, when I did get attention, I would cling to it. And the problem with that is it caused me to allow treatments that was just mean. Like I dated a lot of people who were mean to me. And mean to me and like things, the type of things that they would say would be like, oh, like you'll never find nobody else. Like, who do you think you are? You think you can get better than me? Like those type of toxic comments, I would just see as normal. Like I dated so many people who were like that. And if they weren't like outwardly mean like that, it would be the type of person who just wasn't consistent, who wouldn't consistently show up, who would flake on me a lot, who wouldn't go out of their way to show me any sort of love or even love me, you know? Like just not caring enough to go the extra mile or just not caring enough to simply show up. Like people just putting in the bare minimum and I'd accept it because not only did I believe them when they said that I couldn't do better or that I wouldn't get anyone better or anyone for that matter. I also, when they would be inconsistent with me or mean, I would accept it because that's how I was with myself. I wasn't consistent with myself. I wasn't kind to myself. I didn't consistently show up for myself. So when I
No, you were a big girl. See, it's like you gotta be real with yourself, man. Nobody wants a big girl. If a dude is in his bag, if a dude is the best version of himself, if that man is going to the gym, if he's in shape, why will he even entertain a big girl? So a lot of times when a man do entertain a big girl is for him to get back on his feet. So yes, he's going to talk down on you. Yes, he's probably going to shit on you, but it's all because you're a big girl. Big, fat, that shit represents laziness. That shit represents mental issues. Okay? So that's why it's always best to put the fork down and stop making up excuses. That's just the bottom line.
I was treated that way, I just kind of accepted it. I'd accept being, not getting the dates and the romance and all those type of stuff. And just being kind of treated like an afterthought because that's honestly the level of attention I thought I deserved. And once again, this wasn't like a conscious decision. Like I was sitting around like, oh, this is what I deserve. Like, no, but like deep down, like that's just like I didn't really bat an eyelash at it. Like it did feel normal to me. So much so that like I'm married now But when I met my husband, it was a similar situation. Like I met him, he was interested, um, I was interested, and everything was great until I noticed that he wasn't like he wasn't switching up. Like he was continuing to be nice to me. Like not just within like the little beginning phases. Like after that, he continued to be nice. He continued to continuously show up. He continued to be consistent and all the things that I just wasn't used to. So I tried to run. Like I tried to run. If it wasn't for him really like applying pressure, as they say, I would not be married because like I had gotten so used to poor treatment that I could not even accept being treated well. Like that's how bad and how deep the insecurities really, really ran. And like I said, I wish it wasn't that way. And like to me, it's embarrassing admitting that I was like that, but I was. Like it's just true. But I like genuinely wish I could go back in time and like just get them some therapy. Like I needed therapy. All the dating, I didn't need that. I needed therapy to really be able to dig deep and understand how like childhood triggers, especially as it pertains to dance class. Like almost every girl I talked to who did dance classes as a child can resonate to some extent with like how triggering that experience can be for young girls. But at the time, I don't even know that it had clicked for me that that's where it had started. And then as I kept going on, like I was just so ingrained in that insecurity that I just let it make me make some stupid decisions and put myself in some stupid, dangerous situations and just do things that just wasn't in my actual character and just wasn't not stuff I would recommend out of just being so insecure that I was just clinging to any little bit of attention I could get, even if I knew that this person don't care about me. Like I would know that. Like I wasn't stupid. Like I knew, but it didn't matter. Like just feeling wanted was more important to me than being treated kindly. And it took till now, with me being on this journey. And I want to add too that I've been smaller before in life. Like I've lost weight before this journey. And even then, when I was smaller at that point, it didn't change anything. I was still remarkably insecure because what I've learned is losing weight. We think like, oh, when I lose weight, I'm gonna be, no, you're not. Like losing weight is a band-aid. It does not fix the actual problem. The problem is at the core, and you got to address that. It's not a switch. You don't lose weight and the switch goes off and automatically you're confident. Like that's just not how it works. It's what I thought would happen, but it's not how that works. So now like I'm in therapy. I'm doing the work. I'm working on myself, catering to myself, showing myself kindness, attention, and grace. Yes, I have a husband who does that stuff for me as well. But what's more important is now that stuff is actually coming from me. Like I'm taking the time to build that relationship with myself. But yeah, weird that.
Wow, this right here is very interesting. And as a man, you have to be careful because sounds like her husband is trying to help her build confidence, pretty much make her stronger, pretty much save her. He sounds like he's a good man. But here's the thing. It sounds like she picked her husband by default, right? And she's currently working on herself. She's currently becoming more and more confident. She's feeling herself more and more every day. And her husband is the one who is her biggest supporter. He's the one who is helping her. Fellas, you all have to be very careful with that because a lot of times, whenever you decide to fix a broken woman, you are fixing her for the next man. Now, the title of this video, she was simply saying her type change. And it's just kind of crazy the fact that she mentioned her husband in the video. If I'm the husband and I see a video like this, I definitely will be a little concerned. And as a man, this is why you got to be careful when you are dealing with women who have mental issues. Fellas, women are emotional creatures, bro. If you meet a woman and let's say she have an issue, she's overweight or whatever the case may be, and you decide to help her, understand something. emotionally, she will change as she get more healthier. She will change as she feel better. The type of men that she's into may also change as well. So as a man, you have to keep that in mind. That's why it's best to keep away from low hanging fruits. That's why it's never wise to go for easy pickings. Think about this. You wifed up a chick, all right, who pretty much admitted that she was saying yes to any dude who gave her attention. She was saying yes to any dude who was nice to her. That's your wife. And in a situation like this, brother, again, this is just me. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with a situation like this. All right? Fellas, be wise out here.